And joining us now outside the courthouse is Suzanne Craig, New York Times Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter who has been inside the court. Suzanne, your notes were pretty telling. Give us your description of what it was like when Donald Trump was really going off on the judge.
Sure. And I'm going to start with how the day began and then sort of get into what happened. And it won't take long because everything devolved fairly quickly. But Donald Trump took the stand right around 10 a.m. And he started off with an explanation. He went through, his view of why banks don't rely on the financial statements. He said, look, they look at the deal, they look at the location. And so the banks don't need these financial statements that are sort of at the heart of this case that he submitted to banks in order to, the allegation is to get better rates. So he started with that. And then he said also that his properties are, even though they don't rely on him, that a lot of the statements undervalued things. So even he said, Mar-a-Lago is worth $1.5 billion, which is multiple times what I think the market rate, many would agree, is of it. But he kept saying how valuable his properties are. But then by about 10:15, things started to go off the rail. And the judge just said, look, you are being non-responsive to the questions. Instead of answering if it's a yes-no question, he was going on with these long speeches. And the judge at one point, angrily reminded him that this is not a political rally. And then Trump just started in, and he said things like he called the trial crazy. He said the judge always rules against him. He said, this is a very unfair trial, and I hope the public is watching. And this went on and on. The judge was just so fed up with him in the morning session. And I wrote down just some of the things that he said. He said, in addition to answering, he says you're not only are your questions or your answers non-responsive, they're repetitive. He says that was a yes or no question when Trump would go on and on. He says, you can attack me. This is the judge saying that to Trump when Trump was on the defensive. You can attack me, you can do what you want, but just answer the question. And he kept saying that this is a political witch hunt. He took umbrage with the attorney general at one point. He just continued outburst after outburst. And an idea to the audience that this is going to, even at one point, Trump's lawyer said that he called his client the former and future president. They were very much this morning speaking, that being Trump's team, speaking to a wider political audience. They feel that they've already lost this case, and Trump is playing a character we've known well, and that's the victim this morning.
And Suzanne, what about the evaluations? Is the Attorney General's or her people presenting the disparity in terms of the evidence in a way that is coherent, or are these interruptions making it difficult to do that?
The interruptions are making it tough, but some is getting through. And one thing I found interesting, and it's one of the properties we've heard a lot about, is the valuation on Trump Tower and the triplex specifically that Donald Trump has there. We've heard multiple times that triplex has been estimated to be 30,000 square feet by Trump and employees of Trump in documents. It's closer to 10,000. Trump was asked about that this morning on the stand, and he said, well, the reason why, there were a few reasons, and one of the reasons he gave was because things like elevator shafts were included in the square footage and shouldn't have been. Well, in short, I think Donald Trump had an answer for pretty much everything this morning in terms of any questions about mistakes that may have been made. But his bottom line is, look, this is an art, it's not a science. And furthermore, most of the properties on here, he listed some, being 40 Wall Street. It's a office tower not far from here, Doral, a golf course of his, Mar-a-Lago. All these assets are worth much more than even was on the financial statements that he submitted to banks and insurance companies.